conquista tutto. L'amore conquista tutto.
Hey there and welcome. It's episode 42 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. And we're not going to muck around again. This is just an episode we want to get into. I'm going to welcome my co-host from the home city of Fruit Chocks.
Yes.
Fruit Chocks.
Yes, I know that one.
Apparently, that is a confectionery that is only known in Adelaide. Yes,
Yep.
synonymous with Adelaide. So please welcome and wish him a happy birthday for yesterday. Please welcome Dave Bragg. How are you, Braggy?
I'm very well, Curly. Thanks for that. Fruit Chocks, yeah. I mean, I'm a Queensland boy originally, so when I came here, that was all new to me. And just recently, Fruit Chocks have brought out, because it normally has, like, I think, apricot inside it. They've brought out one with mango inside of it. So I'm fucking... Ooh. It's like being at home. It's great.
There's been a little bit of big news on the music front. Our good friend Rob Stanier released a new song this week.
He did, yeah. It's really nice. It's a little ballad. He's a piano player, obviously, so it's just him at the piano. And it's a sweet song about his grandma, who I think lived till she was 100 and was a big influence on his life. So check it out. I think you'll probably add that one to the playlist, I guess, Tony.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll make sure that we add that to the Unfiltered and Undiscovered playlist. And also we've had that little bit of news about that undiscovered talent called Taylor Swift who released some music this week. You know, couple of downloads I hear that she's had. What was the latest that you saw?
I think within the first 5 hours, it had close to 10 mil or something. 10 mil.
10 million downloads. Yeah. Just unbelievable. And it was also interesting this week that the Rolling Stones copped a bit of a pizzling. So Roger Daltrey from The Who labelled them a mediocre pub band.
Yeah.
And
he said if you're walking past the pub and you heard the Stones playing, you'd think they're just an average pub band. He's probably right, but fuck, they've been an average pub band for a long time.
Only 200 million in album sales, so not bad for an average pub band. Yeah. And Paul McCartney called them a blues cover band. So
true.
What's
That's
the
true
gang
too.
Up on? Hey, we've got another great show. Sitting here with us here in Brisbane, we've got Tony De Pasquale from Brisbane band Spillage. How are you, Tony?
G'day, gents. How are you this evening? I'm well, thank you.
Now, Spillage have just released a new album recently, and congratulations on that, Tony and the band. But you launched it. We've read the reviews. The launch went really, really well. But you guys have got a bit of a unique history. You were first formed in the 90s, so tell me a little bit about how you're now still around.
Well, we were playing a lot in the 90s in through Brisbane. We put an album out in the mid-90s. And we were only a three-piece back then, and then we did break up. We were playing a lot there, especially if you know Brisbane at all, some of the venues that were still around today, the Zoo and the Orient and Aussie Nash and those sort of venues. And then they were kind of imploded towards the end of the 90s, and then probably 18 months ago, there was a reunion gig that a friend of ours, Graham Ashton from Asho from Footstomp Music, said, you guys want to play? So we started playing. We recruited another guitarist who's been a mate of ours for 30-odd years. And we got in the practice room and just loved it. You know, we old songs, and we just started writing a bunch of new songs. And we said, it was so good. It's the best way to spend a Sunday afternoon is just in the practice room and just making noise. And so we played, and that moved into another one. Then all of a sudden we had an album. We started recording a couple of songs and a few more. Also, so we got enough for an album. So, okay. And we've got almost enough for another one now as well. So we've got a few gigs now that we're playing down the Gold Coast this weekend, and another one at the Zoo in a couple of weeks' time for the launch. So that's how it sort of came to be at this stage.
That's fantastic. It's great that we're gigging again too. It's great you're out playing. You know, how good is that?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. You know, it's just to be out. We did one gig a couple of months ago, mid-COVID, at King Lear's in the Valley, and everything sort of happens. Everyone had to sit down, and sit down and watch. And if they weren't drinking, they had to have their masks on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just had their chairs just stomping up and down in it. And in some of the songs, that was pretty cool.
It's funny how the punters adapt. I've had that a couple of times in a couple of recent gigs where they have to sit down, they're not allowed to dance, have to put their mask on, but they put their mask on to go to the bar, and then they'll dance to the bar, and then they go back and sit down. So the punters work it out.
Yeah.
It's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, on Spotify, you've got a bit of a short story about the band that you were gigging around in the 90s. You gave your lead singers a couple of bucks to go buy some kebab, and then you never saw him again for 20 years. Tell me, how true is that?
Well, I guess it's not strict to the letter of the law true, but in the mid-90s, we had this awesome gig at a place called the Roxy, and it was with a small band back then called Powderfinger.
Just tiny.
Little band.
And we were supporting them, and it was like the pinnacle of our career back then. And then everything exploded after that. The manager came to us and said, "Oh, yeah, we might look at putting you guys on and stuff." And so everything was really good. Then everything exploded. We had, the usual band issues back then. There was, alcohol and drug issues and stuff. So with the word kebab, you could change that to rehab.
Yeah, okay.
And it'd be more on the money there. So everyone sort of got their lives together the last 20 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
People went off, got married, have children, got clean, got sober, and then all of a sudden we're back playing again.
That's so good that you're back playing again, because you've got that thing in common. You always have that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is now we can afford to buy good musical equipment.
Yeah. And 20 years later, Tony, it's easier to put music out now too, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. I was talk to my son especially, and he's going, "Oh, yeah, this, Dad." So when we used to have word of mouth,
Yep.
or you'd read it in a magazine, or you'd listen to it on Triple Z
Yep.
up here, or someone would make a mixtape, and you'd write on the cover of the mixtape,
Yep.
on there, and go, "Who's that band?" And most of the time you wouldn't even know the name of the band. Then you start following that band. If they, God forbid, they came to Brisbane, we would just all flock to see the band.
Absolutely.
So, and here you could just do we'll even have Triple J. Triple J sort of stopped all that. And then with the advent of Spotify, everything exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot different nowadays, isn't it? And I guess that's one of my questions. That so with the punters, the people that you're seeing at your gigs, how have they changed from the 90s to now?
Well, some have got quite uglier, but there's still a lot of people sort of our age, say around 50, that's still heading out seeing bands. But there's also the young. So we play with a lot of younger bands too that bring people. And we've got a little posse of a couple of bands that we've been playing together with and stuff. So they drag a whole heap of younger people. So we're introducing people to our music.
Yeah.
Which is good. So we've got a fair bit of age difference there, which is good.
It is good.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned that, Tony. I went to Radio Birdman reunion, would have been pre-COVID, so it must have been 2019, and Died Pretty played, and Mick Madu and the Rumours, I think, was his band at the time. And there were some guys around my vintage that were just playing up big time, like they were back like 17 or 18, and they were doing the whole, like, I've never seen someone my age that fucking energetic, to be honest. I reckon they would have woken up the next day with sore hammies and backs.
I wouldn't have walked for 2 days. Or they could play the game of footy.
That's it,
mate. Absolutely. So when you talk about Spillage, who are the influences for your band?
Okay, so there's probably a couple. Like, I get, for me personally, there's older stuff like Husker Du, and then from the 80s. Then there's 90s stuff like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, that I personally like, and Chili Peppers, who are still going. Other guys in the band have different influences like the Jam or even heavier stuff and things like that. So we all bring a little bit of something in there.
Yeah. Your sound is really mixed. I noticed you call yourselves Nouveau Grunge, and you use the Italian spelling. So obviously there's
That's right.
Italian heritage in the band.
Sì, ho capito. Sì, sono italiano.
That's good. That's good.
So yeah, I tried to move away. Yeah, I very well picked up. The only one that ever picked that up, actually.
Okay, there you go.
That's good.
Did my research. So is there a couple of brothers in the band? Is there or
Yeah, my brother, Sam sings and plays guitar, and is probably the chief songwriter.
righto?
I play bass.
Yep.
Nathan Kime is on drums, and David Gork Rogers on lead guitar.
Okay, excellent.
Cool.
So how do you describe music? I mean, your music, Tony, it's nouveau grunge or however you say that.
Well, if I'm in the broader terms, it's just rock and roll, I say. But I say rock and roll with sort of a grungy influence, I suppose.
Okay.
Is how we describe it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because
I personally,
I don't know if you guys have got. Yeah, I've got a 7-year-old daughter, so all the parents at school are like, "Oh, what's your band like? What's the?
Yeah.
Or can we come and see your band?" And all the parents up there. And funnily enough, the gig last week, the whole corner was taken up of parents from school watching the band and getting into it.
that's the way.
good.
The kids helping you find new audience. That's so good.
Isn't that awesome? Okay, I've teed up the first song we're going to listen to, and it's the first song of the album. So do you want to give us a bit of an overview before we turn it on?
Okay, so Mama Mama is one of our older songs, and it's kind of changed a bit. It changed a bit through the years. It used to be known as we used to nickname it Tribally because it had this sort of tribally start to it with the on the bass drums and just the guitar. But essentially, it's a song Sam wrote about our mother, her feeling safe and being looked after, and trying to repay that later on in life when they're older. And it's one we always open the set with this song most of the time because we reckon we rock out. It rocks. The song rocks out, and we love to play it. Actually, it's really good fun to play.
Yeah, it does
And it
rock.
kind of sets a scene. Everyone just goes, "Whoa!" in the audience. So it's good.
All right, let's put her on. This is Mama Mama. drums on that is phenomenal.
Yeah, you can see why you call it tribal with the toms there.
Yeah. It's funny that was the first song we did in the studio, and all we did was go in there to do the one song.
Okay.
So we just do one, and we nailed it so quickly. So let's do it. I ended up doing 3 songs that day.
That's great.
And that's when I said, well, let's do a couple more, and end up being a couple more and a couple more. So we end up with a couple of leftovers, which will hopefully be on the beginning of the next one.
Yeah.
It's great to hear a recording, Tony, that's not quantized. That's not, it's really free flowing. A lot of the records we've listened to before, everything's like spot on and perfect. And I just really love the warmth of this.
Yeah, well, it's Jeff Lovejoy recorded it. Yeah. So he does a lot of stuff in Australia, really, but in Brisbane and stuff, a lot of bigger bands. And but he records out of his house now, so it was basically in a garage. And just put a couple of things up on the wall, and
I get that vibe.
And still got a concrete floor with some mats, and so we're all playing live. So the rhythm guitar, bass, and drums are all playing live.
Yep.
And Gorky is playing live, but in another room. But so we kind of capture that in there. So we're trying to keep it as for better or for worse, warts and all. We do take different takes to try and get it right.
Yeah, I understand. But it's got that real warmth and the free flowingness to it. It's not. There's not a lot of computer in there. If you feel what I'm trying to say, you know what I mean?
No, there's no auto tune on the voice either.
No. Yeah, that's good. and I know you guys want to call yourselves new grunge, but man, that is Aussie rock. If I've ever heard it, because there's so much influence there, I can hear it all. I can hear the Hoodoo Gurus in there. I can even hear the easy beats in that chord progression. Going back that far.
I tell you what, Easy Beats were one of my favourite bands. I just think they did so much, they got so huge.
Yeah,
and it's a great story, especially Stevie Wright being so sad as it is.
Yes.
And especially reading a couple of books about him, but he just lived a phenomenal life. And my brother played with him actually not so long. A few years ago, and my brother was living in Byron. He sings and plays guitar for us, but he was a drummer for hire as well. And they pulled a couple of people together. Yeah. And he'd just Stevie'd sit on the stool on the stage and sing.
Well, mate, you're right. They pretty much invented Aussie rock. The pub rock scene.
Yeah.
They took it around to those pubs and got beat up and whatever.
Yeah, and then Vander and Young went on to do all that. Well, that was the soundtrack of my childhood, all those songs. I look back on it now and you see everything from Ted Mulry to AC/DC to John Paul Young.
Exactly.
All those ones were produced and written by these guys.
Yeah, all on the Alberts label. Fantastic,
That's it. And Stevie Wright's stuff by himself, his solo stuff, I thought was really good too.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting that I love the fact that kicks off all your sets. It kicks off the album. One of the sets, one of the gigs that I went to was Day on the Green a couple of years back when they had an action-packed fucking lineup, and they had the Violent Femmes playing, and they just came on stage and they started with Blister in the Sun. So, and the crowd just went fucking ballistic. There was no other word to put it. And then all of a sudden you could see people looking at each other and saying, what are they going to play now? They just started with their most well-known song. And of course, most people don't know much more about the Femmes outside of Blister in the Sun, but an amazing concert. They just said, yep, we're going to get it out of the way and then we're going to play. So,
that's cool. They've got tons of other good songs. I remember seeing them with Nirvana down at on the Goldie. What was that venue called? The one at Southport. Anyway, down there.
Yeah,
Fisherman's Wharf.
Oh, Fisherman's Wharf. Yeah, I saw him at East Leagues Club back in when they toured in the 80s, and that was just amazing. Just a little 3-piece band and what they do with that, especially the drummer. All he's got is like what are they called, Tate? The little feather things for the drum.
Brushes?
All he had was a snare. Yeah. Basically a
acoustic
snare
bass. Acoustic bass usually.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They were good. That actually, their first album was sort of the first sort of my alternative album I'd ever listened to that I got into. And was that the Riptides? Yeah. I don't know, it might have been 15 or 16 or so. Riptides and some Lou Reed. I remember they were the first three.
Now it's interesting you say Lou Reed, because I get a real Lou Reed vibe for this next song that we're going to play. washing over me, especially with the bass. You on the bass starting up high, and then
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I get. I wrote that in my little notes.
It's good. It's good to hear this stuff. Hear what other people think of it in there. Like I like this song. I feel is just like a nice warm blanket you can put on and feel good about it and sort of.
It's familiar. It's really pared back. It's simple. It feels simpler to me as a punter, but it's probably tougher to put together to get that simpler feel. But to me, it's just such a familiar sounding. There's a familiarity in that song that I just sort of. You listen to it for the first time, and you're going, have I heard this before? You know, it's nice. Yeah.
That's good. That's great to hear that, actually.
There's a lot, actually, I think there's a lot of space too, Tony, you got in these songs. That's sometimes hard to do. Sometimes bands will play too much, put too much there. It's like an artist who paints and has to know when to stop. And especially this next one, Wash Over Me, there's a lot of space in it. I like that.
Funny you say that, because there's some bits in there when I remember the way we sort of write a song. Sam will come with a bit of a riff or something, then we'll muck around with it, record it, and everyone sort of goes home and plays a bit. Then we come back a week later or 2 weeks later and flesh it out a bit more. And I remember doing this one, and I remember purposely saying that so I could do something really big here. I said, no, let's just give it some space. I might stay out for a bar or two, and then come back in again. And it just seems to work well with this song.
Yeah, for sure.
It does. All right, let's put her on. So.
So tired, crazy thoughts washing over me. They tell me I gotta move on. Tell me I should let it go, so I gotta get over it now. Baby, I think I need a little help today. Say put all my worries in the hold of a ship and let it sail away. I'm feeling lighter now. I'm ready to move on. I'm getting over it now. I'm moving through the clouds, and the sky's looking blue and clear. I feel like I've moved on. I think I've let it go, so I think I'm over it now.
That's nice.
That's great. There's some little.
Thank you.
There's like a Hammond B3 in the background there, Tony. Someone's on the
We've
keys.
got a mate of ours, a guy called Benny D. Williams. He laid some keys down for us, and it really fits well with the song, I reckon.
It does, yeah. It sounds good.
Just gives that nice.
Very much so. What's
I
the
like-
backstory behind?
You go, Tony.
Sorry. Yeah,
go.
what's the backstory? What's the song about?
Well, sadly enough, the song is about abuse actually, and sort of coming through the other side, having to deal with that,
Yeah.
and work through it, and come out the other side of it.
Okay.
This is it.
Being at peace with it, like letting it wash over you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, and just letting it go, putting it in the hold of a ship, and watch it sail away.
Yeah, that's
One
a
of the
great.
lines
That's a
in the
great
song.
line. Yeah, I like that line.
Yeah. I've got we were talking about it before we went on air. We love some of the lyrics that you guys have put together. So Sam does most of the writing.
He does most of the writing. Some of the things, I gotta say, he does most of the writing. Okay, he usually runs it by me to check it, proof it and stuff, and see what's working. And I might change a little bit here and there, but yeah, he does 98% of the writing, I reckon.
Yeah.
But and he comes through, and he's got a little unique style with his words and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
he's
good.
really good.
And we try and push him on that too. Because don't go for that's a bit too easy. That bit, go work on something else. Use your own experiences and that. So he pushes himself with that. So it's good.
Yeah, I sense that. I sense a lot of like I said before, a lot of the songs are very self-searching. Like you're getting some things out, or whoever's writing the songs. If it's him, if it's about himself, he's getting some of those things out, and dealing with them in the song.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the best thing to write anything. If you're writing a song or a novel or whatever, write about what you know
Exactly.
and your experiences and feelings around it.
For sure.
And it's not only usually good stories, but it's really helpful for you too.
And
Very
it
much
comes
so.
across as more believable too, And
Yeah,
and even when you
Instead
sing
of
it
the
or when they play it, it gives that feeling as well,
Yeah, better than the old yeah, baby, yeah.
Yeah, it worked all right for the Beatles for a while.
And I just want to say one thing, like, because Sam and I, brothers, we grew up together, we came from a musical family, so
Okay.
I had to learn the accordion from 5 years old. So my dad was an accordion player.
Yeah.
So, and then I was in a concert when I was 6, and I can't remember whether I liked it or not, but my older brother was very good at it. I was not so good, and Sam was hopeless at it. So Sam said, I'm playing the drums. So he switched from the accordion to the drums very quickly.
Yeah.
And I switched from the accordion to guitar when, at a young age and stuff. And then he started not liking pulling drums, taking drums everywhere, and taught himself how to play guitar, which is what he does most of the time now, which is good.
Accordion's cool. You should bring that in one of the songs, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, we might actually.
I worked at a music shop here, Ceccheries, or we call it the Australian pronunciation was the series, but Ceccheries for a family of Italians. They were fantastic to work for, and there was a lot of accordion. We had a lot of accordions in the shop, and the dad, he was a great accordion player though. He could play like classical stuff on there, and it was
Fantastic.
yeah. So
Yeah, my dad still plays. My dad's 85, and him and his brothers, they play in the band.
Yeah.
And the original name was called the Gay Caballeros when they were younger.
that's awesome.
They just don't really have a name, but they play at a lot of Italian functions and for friends and stuff and birthday parties. But they pull out the old Italian standards and stuff. But he's pretty handy on it. But then, and my brother plays. Oh, Dad, check this out. This is one of our new songs. This is our new clip. Because I can see it's good, but I don't really like it.
That's good, man. That's great.
So on the album, you've got a couple of songs that we're not playing tonight, but we might dive into them before we go to the final song. So
Sure.
Tave loves Lonely Boy.
I think
yeah.
that's the best track.
Oh, fantastic. But tell me what you think. What do you think? Tell me your opinion of it, of the song then. What's it do to you?
I love the words. I'm not exactly sure what it's about. I don't know whether the words are metaphors for anything, but I love the lyrics, and I like the light and shade. I think that's in the song as well. One other thing I like about the whole album, and this is for your guitar player, I think that all the solos are really well thought out too. A lot of times I hear albums now that people just play whatever in the solo, but it seems like he's really thought about these and actually composed the solo, which people don't do enough of now, I don't reckon.
Yeah, he's a real thinking guitarist, and he'll always talk himself down about it. But I'm always in awe of that, of the lead guitarist, when they can just play here, then they go up high and do that, and everything sounds so good.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, it's just right. But he goes away and thinks about it and tries different stuff all the time.
Yeah, it's a little composition in itself, the solo, It's a little composition inside a composition. I like it.
Yeah.
But Lonely Boy is literal. It's about, breaking up with someone and the things happening in there. When we first started writing, this is another one of our older ones, actually.
Yeah.
We kind of felt it had a text. We kind of had in our mind a bit of a Tex Perkins.
Yeah, it's definitely. I had that written down as well. It's definitely sounds like the Beast of Bourbon.
Yeah, and then at the beginning stuff, we always joke around Sam. I said, "You got to be more." I said, "Can I have a kiss? Give me something to miss." I said, "You got to be more Tex Perkins than Frankenfurter."
Yeah,
and sometimes
I think he's got a mixture of both.
Yeah,
I love the ash. I miss your ass in the ashtray. That's a great line.
And I always like one about ironing his pants so the people at the church his Sunday slacks aren't ironed, and the puppy all day sits around doing nothing. Reminds me of you.
I love the. I think that's why I like. I'm a
play.
lyricist guy. I love the lyrics. So
Yeah, I reckon that's the only song.
To play.
I reckon that's the only song in the world that has the Sunday slacks in it. So
yes, Sunday slacks. I know exactly. I get the picture. I see it.
We should have just a more alliteration. Put safari suit in as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's such a like a Sunday slacks. So my dad used to call them slacks. It's such a little Queensland thing too, I think.
Yeah, get those jeans off. Put some slacks on.
That's it.
My dad always called T-shirts round necks. What are you wearing that bloody round neck for?
Put the button up on.
Absolutely. And I've got to say the song that I really like is, I like them all, but You Said No is a great little song.
Oh,
and
swing,
we had a gentleman called Rob Stanier on the show, and he's got a song called Mad Dog Blues, and I'd love to see a mashup of You Said No to Mad Dog Blues, because I reckon it's just got that little bit of groove to it. So, yeah, love it.
Yeah, a little swing feel. I like it.
Thank you. And Sam had listened to a lot of, what did he say he listened to? Was it Ella Fitzgerald or someone one weekend, and he came and said, listen, I want to try this. So we tried this, the light and shade in that song. And we played that song about 20 times when we learned it, and we loved it. And still do. And we did a clip for that song. That was our first single. So
cool.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube, you can see that one. And
okay.
It's pretty fun.
All right. Let's play the final song. Now, this song is the album title. It's Unawares. And in the true spirit of Australian music, we leave it right till the very last word to actually say the song title. So, which I think is quite amazing, because when I think back to like Ganga Jang with Sounds of Then, at least they got it out in the first line and then never sang it again. You guys wait till the very last word.
Well picked up. I have to tell Sam now.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, let's put it on. And this is a film clip, so we get to see the band. So
cool.
moving, I'm moving on. I'm moving, I'm moving on. Yeah. I can smell the roses. I can feel the sea. I can taste the honey. Woo, tastes good to me. I can hear the music. I can read the poems. No more hanging out on my own. No one told me I could ever feel like this. No one told me this love for life has taken me unaware.
Tony, do you play that one at the end of the gigs?
Sometimes, yes, we do actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of our finishes. It'll be actually lately we've been playing it very last.
Yeah.
And it's been really rocking the house. It's been really good to finish up on actually.
The album seems to
And
flow
doing
like
nuts.
that. It seems to flow like a gig.
Yeah, okay, that's good. But I guess we always just think like that.
Yeah.
You know, how would you like to see it at a gig? And
Yeah.
we've sort of changed the set a bit this weekend to try something a bit different when we're playing. But that's kind of how. And I do always, when I know my favourite died pretty before. I remember they did 2 years ago when they would play just their whole album, like play Don't Boy Hollow or something, and you just from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the Gurus did that with Stone Age Romeos.
Okay.
They just
Yeah,
played, which was just an amazing gig to attend. So, Tony, how did let's just go back to Unawares. Once again, I think there's one of the best lines that I've ever heard in a song, and where he sings about wherever you go, well, there you are. It's just such a little simple line, and you just go, oh fuck, that's so true. Wherever you go, well, there you are. It's
so you may as well make peace with yourself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just say when you some turmoil in your life, quite often you think, oh, I need a new partner, or I need a new job, or I need to move somewhere else. Okay, but when you do that, you realise, oh, here I am still.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe
still
I'll
me.
look a bit deeper, look inside if I really want to change.
Yes, good point.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that song just fits really nicely with Brisbane, with the music Brisbane's got has always had such a diverse music scene, and I really don't like sort of generalising that about a certain style of Brisbane music, but that just fits. I've got so many fond memories of seeing bands in the 80s at little dive bars and whatnot, and I could see that song being played in a little dive bar in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's been playing little dive bars in 2021. Yeah.
Nothing's changed. Doesn't matter which little dive bar you go to, you're still there.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely. So you've got some gigs at the moment. What's up next for you?
We've got this Saturday, it's an afternoon one, so RV one down at Vinnie's Dive Bar on the Gold Coast. In fortnight's time on the 4th of December, we're playing a show at the Zoo
Yeah.
on the Saturday night there. And that's it for this year. We've got a couple more lined up, in the hopefully for early next year, probably around February or so.
Excellent.
We'll take a few weeks off
And
and get back into rehearsing.
And you've got enough songs for another album? Any sort of dates or that you've got ahead for that?
We'll probably go into studio, I reckon, around February, March or so, and probably less, say March, April or so. But we'll probably this time next year, I reckon we'll have it out again.
Excellent.
The whole album. We'll release a couple of singles in the meantime.
Yeah.
I think so. And it's funny, like you kind of change musically a tiny bit as well, and we go down a little alleyway, then come back again, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
See where we go.
Yeah.
It's actually good to see an album.
Yeah, it's rather than just a single come out. It's good to see an album, yeah. Because of Spotify now, everyone puts one out, then puts another one out, and then by the time it comes to an album, you know, it's not. You've heard them all.
Yeah, I missed that album. With album when I was a kid, the album cover was something you really looked at as well, and you read all the stuff about them and tried to find out. And if they had a lyric sheet, even better. Yes. Otherwise, you'd be singing the wrong song, wrong words all the time.
I love it. I've got a big album collection, and I love getting them out and still read them. I love it.
Yeah,
it's cool. They're works of art, a lot of them. Aren't they? The stuff they do.
Exactly. Well, your artwork's really good on the front. That's got that real 50s cartoon vibe, like Jetsons vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what we're after. Yeah, we're sick of seeing our old heads on there. So I said, let's go cartoony.
Yeah.
And this article, Jack Tierney, listen to the graphics. He was on board with that and came up with that. So
yeah, it's good.
We're really happy with that.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the album, Tony, and the band called Spillage. Where did the name come from?
It was something we used to say when you'd knock over a drink. Spillage, and then and then it just sort of grew on us. We liked it as a saying, and we just took it on. We thought it sounded pretty cool.
Yeah,
having the one word name too.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's been really cool just diving into the music, to be honest. So we've put a couple of the songs that we've listened to and a couple of those other ones that we liked on the Spotify playlist called Unfiltered and Undiscovered. So if you like those songs, guys, jump on, follow the band. They're on Spotify. They're also on Facebook. All of those links will be, of course, in the show notes. Tave, any further questions for?
I don't think so. I just want to remind the people listening that when you go to Spotify to listen to Spillage, make sure you follow them. So the more followers, so they can get their half a cent for every play.
We get some sandwiches soon.
Yeah, I'm saving up for a carton. But you know what? At least the music's out there, and that's I think one of the reasons why Tony and I, Curly and I, like to do this thing is because there's so many bands like you and that and you get lost in that in all the thousands of bands. So it's just good to talk to local bands that are out there playing and putting things out to listen to. It's really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much for having me on and playing the songs, reviewing the songs, and just chatting about music in general. It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great hearing feedback from people as well.
That's good.
It's excellent.
Well, now, Tony, we're doing the singles.
Yes, so Tony just put up with us for a little bit. So while we do our undiscovered 7 inches, so
mine's not undiscovered.
So do you want to do yours first or me?
Well, you go first.
All right. So I've got an old Brisbane band. So this is from 1984. The band is called Cry Conflict. And interesting about this band, I was doing some volunteer doormanship for 4ZZZ up here, and this was the band that was playing. So this was my first time in the volunteer world and listening to some new music. 4 songs on this 7-inch.
So it's a little EP. Angel, turn it over again, Tony. Let me have a look at the back.
So they were a real
little 3-piece
band that was highlighting, things like the warmongering and whatnot. So really, really well before their time from a lot of the bands that we see. From 84 it was. So
I know those guys.
Do ya?
Especially Phil Ra and Phil Montour in the band there.
How about that? There you go.
It's playing back then.
It's a small world. So, and they were just such a tight little band, and they used to gig pretty hard around Brizzy, and once again, just a band that probably deserved a little bit more success than what they ultimately got. But yeah, Cry Conflict. So.
Well, Tony, I knew you'd go for a Brisbane band, being a Brisbane boy, and us having Spillage on, being a Brisbane band as well. So I thought I would go, and I knew your band would be real niche and cool. So I thought I'd go the opposite. Mine's not actually a band. It's actually 2 guys, and they wrote a lot of ads, actually. But one of the biggest hits they ever had, and this is also because I'm a cricket nut, and it's the start of cricket season.
Oh, yes. Go the Aussies. Big win the other night.
So that's why I put this out. Come on, Aussie, come on. That's the single.
Oh, my God.
Pretty hard to find.
It is.
The original version?
Yes, original version.
Go.
Mojo Singers, they wrote all those ads.
Yeah.
You ought to be congratulated. It's on WEA.
Wow.
Oh.
I had to buy it. It was $2.
Lily's pounding down like a machine.
That's it. You remember, we're all the same age.
I got my tickets to the first test too.
Well, I got tickets to the second
yes.
test, mate. There you go. So I go the first 3 days.
Oh, fantastic.
Behind the bowler's arm.
And
Isn't it
and I'll
funny
watch
how
the-
Brisbane Bears, like Powderfinger, you guys support a massive cricket nuts, aren't they?
Yeah, well, there's still there was a cricket band, cricket comp, and it's still going. It's been going for 30 years.
Oh, cool.
And they only forget all to play in the summer, so they only play in the winter now.
Yeah.
So the guy we played with the other week, there used to be a band called Chopper Division, and he runs it. He's just been going for 30 years.
That's cool.
This cricket, the Power used to have a team in it. I don't know if they still do. But I'm kind of hoping them to ask me, and I'll get my wicket-keeping skills back again.
Yeah, Bernard might turn up. That's great.
Well, you guys can go to the test game. I'll watch the highlights. So, all right. All right. So I'm just going to do a bit of a wind up, and then we'll finalise the show. Tony, once again, just thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks.
It's been great talking with you. Next week we've got Fiona Garrett from Ant NZ. Now, this is really interesting. She's got her own record label called Ant Records, and it's live streaming DJs, and I'm fascinated by it. It goes off, you get on to one of their streams, and there might be hundreds of people on a live stream listening to a DJ. So
This is going to be cool.
it is. It's going to be really, really cool. On the following week, we've got the undiscovered and uncovered covers. So we're going to be sharing a couple of covers that have been covered by undiscovered bands. I think that's the way it is. So on December 9, we've got an educational session with a social media expert called Chantel Garrity, who's going to teach us how to get discovered. So for all the bands out there wanting to get discovered, social media is a really good tool. So Chantel's joining us on December 9. And don't forget our Christmas show on 16th of December. We've got, and we'll ask Tony and the boys from Spillage once we get offline. We've got guests. We've got live music happening. We've got a couple of people that are sending in their videos. Shane Sigrove from Blind Season Detroit sending us a video. Alison Assad from Nashville and over there
Tennessee.
in the US, Tennessee. She's sending us a video, so it's going to be an awesome night. We're just going to have a little bit of fun. And then we kick off 2020 with the amazing Mick Madu from Screaming Tribesmen and currently running around with Mick Madu and the Mesmerizers. So as per always, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, like, subscribe, share. All our stuff's on our website, Unfiltered and Undiscovered.com. Don't forget our playlists are on Spotify. I think I've got it. Have I got everything, Braggy?
I think you did it, mate. You did well.
All right.
the man.
And once again, big shout out and a big thank you to Tony. I hope the album just kicks some really
thanks,
good
Tony.
goals because we loved it. So from everyone here, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all again next week.
Ciao.
Bye.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.